Hey everyone, I just wanted to post a video today to introduce myself and to walk through the syllabus, try to kind of lay a groundwork or kind of a blueprint of what this class is going to be like. This is an all online class, you'll notice, so everything that you will have, or everything that you'll need is accessible online. And I just want to kind of give you kind of the layout of your expectations, kind of just go through the syllabus here so you can understand what is expected of me and what's required of you in the same way. So if you'll notice on your syllabus, this is a survey of U.S. history. This is going to be a 7-week course. It's a very, very quick sprint through American history. So I'm just going to begin at the top of the syllabus, kind of go down and detail kind of everything along the way. That way, hopefully there won't be any questions. And if there are any questions, you can feel free to email me. You'll notice if you pull up your syllabus, survey of U.S. history, History 2110. I'm your instructor, Dr. Christopher Gleason. You'll notice my email is cgleason1 at gsu.edu. It's very important that you email me through that email, okay? There is another email that may still go to where there's a student email for me. Do not use that email because I will not get those, okay? Very important. cgleason1 at gsu.edu. That's how you contact me, okay? My office location is in 25 Park Place, so if you need to come see me for any reason, because this is an online class, you will need to email me and make an appointment, and I will meet whoever needs to meet whenever you need to, or we'll schedule a time that's good for both of us, okay? So under here, the syllabus is very important to read the whole syllabus. The syllabus is essentially a agreement between me and you to show us our expectations for each other and the things that we're responsible for. Keep in mind that, if there are any unforeseen circumstances or anything like that, the syllabus may need to be altered at some point. Typically, that's not the case. We try to stick very closely to it, especially because of the time restraints of summer. So keep that in mind. You'll see a course, we'll talk about the course schedule down at the bottom. Now, this is, under the course description, this is essentially a U.S. history course. So it is a very fast sprint through U.S. history. A lot of courses do this in 2-part section. We're going to do it in one. So it's essentially going to highlight the basic periods, themes, ideas, and events that have shaped American history, okay? We're going to focus on intellectual, social, political, religious, cultural factors from the colonial period to the present, right? We're going to give specific attention, as your syllabus says, to competing visions of what America should be. All right, so essentially we're going to tackle kind of bigger concepts about, what did the founding fathers think America should be? Did they agree? Did they disagree? How? Is America a Christian nation? What were the causes of the Civil War? How did America become a superpower? What was the nature of the Cold War? What is liberalism? What is conservatism? Why does America seem to be so divided? So these are kind of like the overarching questions. We're going to look at historical material. We're going to look at the textbook. We're going to look at documents and videos from historical periods in order to kind of give us a narrative, right? So we want to kind of have a narrative of American history, right? It's very important, I think, when you come out of this class, that when someone starts to talk about, Reconstruction or the Gilded Age or, the Great Depression, the New Deal, all these different things, you will be able to have kind of a time placement for them that is correct and kind of the overarching debates and issues that kind of guided those shifts throughout American history, okay? So this is an online course. All of the materials that you will need will be available through iCollege. So there's a free textbook. You will notice when you pull up iCollege, there's a syllabus at the top. You can read through that. You should be reading through that right now with me. And then you will see essentially different units. We're going to go through 2 units a week, right? So there's a total of 13 units. We're going to do 6 weeks of 12, and then you're going to have a final period, which we'll talk about in a minute, where you can cover that 13th as well, all right? So course-specific objectives, I kind of talked about this a little bit. The purpose of this course is to identify key persons, events, and changes in American culture. We're going to analyze primary and secondary sources. Okay, this is very important. A primary source, which hopefully we will remember from high school, is a source written by a person in that time. Right? It's a first-hand account. And then secondary sources are something that someone else has studied different things and kind of compiled a type of narrative about what happened using those primary sources, okay? So we're gonna look at both of those, right? Your required text is Jeffrey Young, Dream of America. That is available on iCollege. You will notice when you go through, there's not, you'll see lectures and textbook. It's gonna be broken down into modules. We're gonna go through broken down into units, each which have 10 modules in it, right? So if you go to Unit 1, it's going to have 10 modules within it, and so for the first half of the week, you will go through those first 10. There's going to be a little video. You'll see little paragraphs that are essentially retelling what is covered in the video for each one of those, and at the end of those 10, there's a chapter, right? So you're responsible to go through each module in each unit, and then you will read the chapter, right? And so when you take your quizzes, which we'll talk about in a minute, that material is going to come from that, right? Academic honesty, this is very important. Obviously, if you cheat, I'm required to let the university know that. You can either receive a failing grade on the assignment, or you could receive a failing grade in the course and then have to face discipline for that. I hope that doesn't happen. I don't see it happen. In here, we'll see that we're going to have a writing assignment each week, and then we're also going to have a final. That is essentially where you would be able to cheat if you were to do it. So please don't do that. Attendance policy, obviously this is an online course, so I'm not going to be taking attendance, but your attendance is your keeping up with the work, right? So I know you've attended if you have completed the quizzes every week, right? Or turned in your writing assignment, right? So I also have to turn in an attendance policy or attendance I have to show the university that you're showing up for class for student aid purposes, financial purposes, things like that. So if you don't complete your quizzes, which we'll talk about in a minute, or your writing assignments for the first couple weeks, I assume that you are not attending class, right? And then I have to let them know and they will drop you, okay? So it's very important that you keep up from the beginning with the quizzes and the writing assignments. Office of Disability Services, if you have any kind of disability that I need to aid you with or address in any way, email me, and you also have to let the Office of Disability Services know, and we'll accommodate whatever needs to be accommodated. In bold, I want to reiterate, because I have people do this all the time, C. Gleason 1, CGLEASON, the number 1 at gsu.edu is how you contact me. Any other email, including a Gleason student email, I will not receive, okay? So make sure that you don't contact me through iCollege. There's a messaging system through iCollege. Do not use that. Contact me directly at cgleason1 at gsu.edu. Okay, I cannot reiterate that enough. Course evaluations, you'll evaluate me at the end of this course, and also within that you evaluate your own performance as well. That's very important. You'll notice that the grading scale here is a plus minus. So I give you the breakdown here into the grading scale. I'm not going to go through each one of those. You can see them on the syllabus. Can see what you get. Okay, for assignments, this is probably what you care most about. There's for the first 6 weeks, there are 2 quizzes a week, right? So you will complete, once you complete, and they correlate directly to the unit material. So once you finish all 10 modules in Unit 1, you can take Quiz 1, and that's going to come from that. Because this is an online course, it is open notes, open books, or book. So you can use any material that you have. You don't have to shut all your stuff and do it from memory. You can use anything that is in front of you, okay? I don't penalize that at all. So just make sure that you know, and that's 120 points. So a huge bulk of your grade in this class comes from those quizzes, but there are many of them. So if you mess up on one of them, you don't do well on one of them, keep in mind that that's not going to sink your grade because there's so many of them, right? There's 2 a week for 6 weeks. Very important. There will be no quiz over the 13th, but the material in the 13th can be used for the final, which we'll talk about in a minute. All right, in addition to the quizzes, There are 6 primary sources analysis. Each week, if you look over in what I call the readings tab, I posted 2 different primary sources or secondary. They're 2 different sources. Most of the time they're going to be primary, sometimes they're going to be secondary. Most of the time they're going to be documents that you have to read. Other times they might be a video. But what you'll do each week is for that week, week 1, week 2, you're going to pick one of those, of the 2 sources, and write a 1-page double-spaced analysis, all right? And so what I'm looking for in that is that you can put that document in your own words, right? So I don't want long quotes because it's a 1 page, it's too short for that. Put it in your own words. I know what it is, you don't have to cite it, but tell me, kind of who the author is, what they're saying there, and then for the second half of the page, I want you to relate it back to the material from that unit, right? So I want you to contextualize it. Tell me, what perspective is this person coming from? What are their motivations or concerns? Is there a specific event that they're reacting to? What's driving them? So I want you to be able to, in half a page, and there's only going to be 1 page, double-spaced, 1 page double-spaced, no extended quotes, just in your own words. Tell me who the person is, what they're saying, what the document is saying, or the video, and what is motivating or driving them. How does this fit into the historical moment that we're talking about, okay? Now, this is very important. Most of you are coming from high school. I'm going to post something about this later. When you write these, I do not want a header, an MLA header at the top that has your name, my name, the date, the class. I know all of that information, okay? So I want a full page of your words telling me an analysis of that document or video, okay? If you fill up the top third of your page with an MLA header, that's not a full page of writing, right? So it's very important to me that, you can write your name at the top if you want, but honestly, I don't even need that. When you turn it in through iCollege, I see who you are. I know who I am. I know what the date is. I know what the class is. So please don't use that header. That will end up hurting you if you do that, okay? If you have any questions about that, email me and I'll be glad to answer them. Okay, and then lastly, there is a final exam. And so for the final exam of this course, they're going to be essay questions. I'm going to give you 6 different essay questions, and you're going to pick 2. All right, and I expect for each of those 2 that you choose that you will write 2 pages double-spaced answering that question. Essentially kind of a 5-paragraph essay, right? And so you're going to take a position. I'll talk about this later on. I'll post another video when we get towards the end. And I'm going to give you these questions early on. I'm probably already going to post them, right? So you can go ahead and start thinking in your mind when you're going through this material how you're going to frame this essay, right? This is not something I want to pop up on you at the end. I'm not trying to trick you. I want you to be able to think critically with ample time to write a good essay. And I want you to focus mostly on what we are talking about in the course here, okay? So here, if you just look at your course schedule, week 1, we're going to begin, obviously today, June 7th through June 13th. We're going to cover Unit 1 and Unit 2. So there's going to be Unit 1, 10 modules. If you look over there, go through all of those, right? And then Unit 2, there's going to be 10 more modules. Go through all of those. And at the end of each one of those, there's a textbook chapter that you should read as well. Take notes on those, learn the material, and then once you finish Unit 1, the first 10 modules in Unit 1, you can go in under Quiz 1, and you can take that quiz, right? So you should do 2 quizzes a week, and you'll notice that everything ends by that Sunday. So by Sunday the 13th of this week, you should have completed 2 quizzes, 2 units, all 10 modules in those units. Now, each quiz, the material from that quiz is going to correlate directly with that module. So when you unit. So when you complete all 10 modules in Unit 1, then go take the quiz for the first quiz. When you complete all 10 modules in Unit 2, go take the second quiz, right? So 2 quizzes a week. And those should be done by Sunday night, right? By 11:59 on Sunday. You will also turn in your first analysis paper by that Sunday. And this is going to be the same each week, right? So if you were to look over at this week, you will go to Readings, week 1, and you'll notice that there is Columbus Journals, and John Winthrop's City on a Hill. Now, I don't want you to write these. You shouldn't write this one-page analysis until after you complete both units, right? Because one of these is going to correlate with Unit 1, one's probably going to correlate with Unit 2 pretty directly, right? So, and then I want you to pick one of those and write a one-page analysis. Remember, no MLA header, full page, and that way I can see that you have read a primary source, and you can relate it directly to the material that we've covered, right? So if you're talking about Columbus, you should talk about the conversation that kind of surrounds Columbus and his, who he is, what he did, what he says about the native or indigenous people, be able to relate that. If you choose John Winthrop, you'll be able to talk about who John Winthrop is from the readings from the textbook and from the lectures that you'll see, the videos under the modules, and you'll be able to tell me something about how he relates to Puritanism, right? So it's very good. And that is going to be the same every week, right? So if we go back to the syllabus here, take it down. All right, and then week 2, June 14th through June 20th, same thing. You'll do Unit 3, all 10 modules, take the quiz. Unit 4, all 10 modules, take the quiz. Then you'll go into readings. You'll go down to week 2. You'll see the Declaration of Independence or the Articles of Confederation. You'll choose one of those and do the same thing. Write a one-page analysis after you've finished Unit 3 and Unit 4, right? And taken the third and fourth quiz, right? And so you're just going to go ahead and do that all the way down the list. We go back to syllabus. Boop. You will notice that week 4 is June 28th through July 4th. By the end of July 4th, and you'll have that whole week to do it, so don't, enjoy your July 4th, but remember, if you're going to enjoy the holiday, do the work before that, because you have the whole week to do it, right? By 11:59 on that, you will take you will do all the modules for Unit 7 and Unit 8. You'll take both quizzes, and then you'll turn in the reading for that, right, for that week. Same with week 5, July 5th through 11th, and 6th, July 12th through 18th, right? And then the 7th, we're going to cover Unit 13. So you're gonna have a week to cover Unit 13, but you are not going to have a quiz over that, but you can use that towards one of the questions in the final, that material if you want. And then you will notice that week 8, you'll essentially have week 7 and week 8 to work on your final as well, right? Because you only have one unit from July 19th to July 25th, and then week 8, July 26th to 29th, the final exam, which you will see, and I'll talk about in greater detail as we move forward, will be due 11:59, July 29th. This is very important. Summer semester moves very quickly. I have multiple courses that I'm teaching, and I have to have everything graded and in within a very short period of time after that. So it's very imperative that I get your final, and you have so much time to work through this. You'll notice that some of the questions, if you want to go ahead and look when you have access to the final, some of the essay questions pertain to a period of time in the beginning of the semester, so you can go ahead and already start hashing those out if you choose one of those things. Like if you're talking about the Civil War, halfway through the semester we'll be through that, and so you could go ahead and start blueprinting or outlining or even writing that aspect. So by the time the 29th rolls around, you should be pretty good to go. So I will post another video and some more commentary on that as we go forward. But I hope that everyone will enjoy this course. We talk about some really interesting things in here. I hope that the history won't be boring, that it'll be more than just a list of people and dates, but that you'll have a better understanding of kind of the cultural shifts, the events and arguments and just different things that have happened over the past 250 plus years that will help you understand the present and kind of the division that we have in American society even now. I think a lot of these things will become more increasingly apparent. So if you have any questions, again, I'm Dr. Gleason. You can email me. Remember, cgleason1@gsu.edu, and I will help in any way that I can. Thank you so much.